The world is full of forbidden places, locked away and shrouded in secrecy, that spark our deepest curiosity. These are sites so enigmatic that few truly know what happens inside. From secret vaults to entire cities sealed off, these are the forbidden places that challenge every attempt at exploration. And the less we know about them, the more fascinating they become. Get ready to discover 12 inaccessible locations that continue to intrigue the world and prove that human curiosity has boundaries we may never be able to cross. Number 1. There's a place in Atlanta that guards something more valuable than gold bars, the original Coca-Cola formula. This vault, known as the Coca-Cola Vault, is one of the most curious forbidden places in the world. The company uses this secret as part of its own myth, creating an aura of mystery that transforms a simple drink into a cultural icon. Just think about it. Who has never wondered if they could recreate the exact taste at home? The power of this secret goes far beyond curiosity. It has become a marketing strategy that spans generations. The very idea that there's an inaccessible recipe locked away under keys and alarms gives the public the feeling that it is something unique, impossible to copy. In this way, the brand stands out among millions of competitors. It's like a hidden jewel, one of those secret locations that seem inaccessible to any ordinary person. And there's a practical lesson in this. Mystery can be a powerful ally in building a brand, a project, or even a personal identity. Imagine an artist who never fully reveals their technique or a company that keeps a secret ingredient in its products. The perceived value rises because what cannot be easily deciphered becomes even more desirable. This is a modern way of creating a treasure without the need for armored vaults. If we think about it, this idea connects with other places on the planet that also thrive on secrets, surrounded by stories and speculation. And perhaps no other forbidden place spark as much popular imagination as a military base in the Nevada desert. Number 2. In the heart of the Nevada desert lies one of the most famous restricted areas on the planet, the enigmatic Area 51. For decades, this place has been surrounded by conspiracy theories, alleged sightings of alien spacecraft, and stories of secret experiments. Very little is officially known about what goes on inside, and it is precisely this absence of information that turns the base into one of the most talked about forbidden places on Earth. The US government only acknowledged the existence of Area 51 in 2013, and even then never revealed details about its operations. For many, that alone was enough fuel to keep speculation alive. While some believe in advanced aircraft testing, others swear that proof of extraterrestrial contact is hidden there. The truth is, when it comes to strategic communication, silence can be just as powerful as any speech. But what few people know is that attempting to enter Area 51 can have serious consequences. The entire region is monitored by sensors, cameras, and armed patrols. Signs around the perimeter warn that any trespassing may result in heavy fines, imprisonment, and even the use of lethal force if someone insists on crossing the boundaries. There's no middle ground. It is one of the most heavily protected, restricted areas in the world. This extreme level of security demonstrates the site's strategic importance. And just as Area 51 hides its mysteries in the Nevada desert, there is another place that has become a symbol of inviolability. But this time, what's being protected is not military secrets, but tons of gold. Number 3. Fort Knox is not just a vault. It is practically a synonym for inviolability. Located in Kentucky, this depository holds one of the largest gold reserves in the United States. Over the decades, it has established itself as one of the most feared and respected forbidden places in the country. Its very name has even become a popular expression. When someone wants to say that something is extremely secure, they simply compare it to Fort Knox. Protection there is taken to another level. The vault is surrounded by electrified fences, armed guards, and steel doors weighing tons. Even if someone managed to get through the outer barriers, they would face redundant systems and protocols that make it virtually impossible to walk out with even a single gold bar. It is the physical embodiment of the concept of restricted areas. But Fort Knox goes beyond gold. It symbolizes trust, power, and stability. In times of crisis, just the government's assurance that the gold remains safeguarded there already conveys confidence to the financial system. It serves as a reminder that, even in the midst of chaos, there is a heart that continues beating steadily. For the average citizen, this may seem distant, but it follows the same principle as keeping a personal financial reserve, a solid foundation that withstands turbulent times. This vault has become so iconic that few would even dare to imagine breaching it. And yet, there is another place in the United States that shows how exclusion and isolation were also once used as a form of protection, but in a much more human and painful context. Number 4. Kalaupapa is a living reminder of how fear can transform beautiful places into restricted areas marked by human suffering. From 1866 to 1969, thousands of people were sent there against their will. The logic was simple and cruel: isolate the sick to protect society. But in practice, what was created was a forced community, cut off from the rest of the world, where families were torn apart and lives interrupted. Today, the site serves as both a memorial and a historical park. Visitors can see the remains of houses, the church, and even the cemeteries where many were buried. Walking through it, it's impossible not to feel the weight of history. It's as if the wind blowing over those cliffs still carries the voices of those who were never allowed to leave. That is the power of mysterious places. They tell stories that history books often prefer to condense into just a few lines. And if Kalaupapa reveals how human beings once treated their own in the name of public health, there is another scenario on the planet that shows a completely different side, a region where nature itself imposes isolation, turning the environment into a true extraterrestrial laboratory. Number 5. Imagine walking through a place where almost nothing survives. That is what the McMurdo Dry Valleys are like, one of the most extreme hidden places on Earth. Located in Antarctica, these dry and frozen regions are so inhospitable that even bacteria struggle to exist there. No rivers flow, no vegetation appears, only an absolute silence that makes it feel as if you were standing on another planet. NASA uses this landscape as a testing ground to simulate the conditions of Mars. It is a true natural laboratory, where scientists study how life can endure without running water, in freezing temperatures, and under winds sharp enough to cut through skin. The discoveries made there may help us understand not only the future of space exploration, but also how life adapts to environments once considered impossible. These studies even offer lessons for our everyday lives. Think about how plants manage to survive with almost no water, or how certain microorganisms thrive even in toxic environments. The resilience that science finds in the dry valleys is the same resilience each of us can develop when facing our own challenges. To adapt, even under adverse conditions, is one of the secrets to continuing forward. And if this place shows how nature creates nearly insurmountable barriers, there are also other forbidden places that remain shrouded in technological secrets, operating silently in remote corners of the planet. Number 6. In the middle of the Australian desert, surrounded by miles of sand and silence, rises Pine Gap. From the outside, all you see are massive white domes, scattered like watchful eyes pointed toward the sky. Few know exactly what happens behind those walls, but it is precisely this lack of answers that makes the site one of the most intriguing forbidden places on Earth. The red domes that cover its antennas look like guardians of a greater secret. Some say they capture invisible signals crossing space, while others believe the site holds technology capable of seeing what no one else can. The impression is that Pine Gap is not only watching the world around it, but also gazing far beyond what the common imagination can reach. The strangest part is that no one outside those walls truly knows the full extent of what is kept there. Data, signals, transmissions, or perhaps something beyond our comprehension? The mystery endures because there is no way to confirm, and it is precisely this veil of uncertainty that makes Pine Gap so magnetic to the human mind. Number 7. Deep underground, in the depths of an old mine in Pennsylvania, lies one of the most impressive hidden places ever created, Iron Mountain. What once served to extract mineral resources has now been transformed into a colossal vault of information and relics. With miles of underground tunnels, this site stores everything from corporate documents to cultural works that have defined generations. Inside, temperature and humidity are carefully controlled to preserve every detail. Original Hollywood films, recordings of historic music, and contracts from massive corporations are safeguarded in vaults that look like they came straight out of science fiction. To the public, this facility acts as a kind of secret archive of humanity, where fragments of the past are hidden in a restricted area that few are ever allowed to enter. The intrigue deepens when you learn that even copies of government records and technological data are kept there. Imagine your personal computer multiplied by millions and locked inside a subterranean bunker under maximum security. That is the essence of Iron Mountain. It's not just about protecting against theft, but about preserving the memory of the world for future generations. And if Iron Mountain protects what we have lived and created, there are other places around the globe that do not preserve culture, but hide activities so secret that we don't even know their true purpose. Number 8. One of these lies deep in the Ural Mountains, where an entire city remains closed to this very day. In the Ural Mountains, surrounded by dense forests and towering peaks, lies a city that does not appear on tourist maps, Mesgorje. Officially, it exists, but no outsider truly knows what happens there. It is one of those forbidden places that immediately spark fascination because it's not just an isolated building or a vault. It's an entire city sealed off from the outside world. Reports suggest that access is restricted and heavily monitored. Anyone attempting to approach will encounter military checkpoints and constant surveillance. There are no tourists, no curious wanderers. Only authorized residents living daily lives completely inaccessible to the rest of the planet. This atmosphere turns Mesgorje into a living mystery, wrapped in silence and speculation. For many, this city reflects the legacy of times when secrecy was considered as valuable as any material resource. The feeling is that every street, every building hides a concealed purpose. The mere fact that an entire urban space exists in isolation, functioning parallel to the open world, already places it at the top of the list of the most intriguing restricted areas on Earth. And while Mesgorje still beats within its isolation, there is another place that lived its peak in the past and now rests in silence, an island in Japan that was once a symbol of industrial progress, but today is known as a ghost city surrounded by the sea. Number 9. A few miles off the coast of Nagasaki, an island rises on the horizon that looks more like a battleship, Hashima, also known as Battleship Island. For decades, this was one of the most densely populated places on the planet, home to thousands of coal mine workers. Today, all that remains is a ghostly setting, one of the most striking mysterious places in Japan. The concrete buildings still stand, but in ruins, corroded by wind and sea salt. Walking there feels like wandering through a post-apocalyptic city. The absolute silence contrasts with its once bustling past, when children played in narrow streets and entire families crowded into small apartments. Now, only echoes of the past fill the space. What is most remarkable is how Hashima has become a living portrait of the rise and fall of Japanese industrialization. It was a symbol of modernity at the beginning of the 20th century, and then suddenly turned into one of the hidden places that hold the memory of prosperity followed by abandonment. It proves that even concrete empires can crumble when their economic foundations disappear. And if Hashima shows how a place can move from glory to oblivion, there is another in the United States that remains active to this day, ready to be used in the event of a global catastrophe. A subterranean bunker so heavily protected that it has become the final line of survival for entire leaders. Number 10. Hidden in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia lies Mount Weather, one of the most secret forbidden places in the United States. Unlike ghost islands or abandoned mines, its purpose is clear: to serve as an underground bunker capable of sheltering leaders and authorities in the event of a catastrophe. This isn't fiction, it's reality. And few places in the world inspire as much fascination as a facility designed purely for survival. Behind its discreet entrances lies a true underground city. Tunnels, offices, dormitories, cafeterias. Everything prepared so that an entire government could continue to function, even if the world above lay in ruins. The atmosphere creates the unsettling feeling that life could be transferred underground at any moment, something that feels like it came straight out of a movie. Little is known about the details of Mount Weather, but reports suggest that the site is equipped with advanced communication and security technologies. It is like a collective life insurance policy, kept in silence, ready to be activated only in the face of extreme necessity. Just as vaults protect treasures, this bunker protects the very continuity of a nation. And if Mount Weather shows how a country prepares to survive the unimaginable, in other regions of the world, there are also physical borders that divide lives in striking ways, barriers that do not protect treasures or leaders, but separate people to this very day. In the heart of Cyprus, there is a strip of land that seems suspended in time, the Nicosia Buffer Zone, number 11. Created in 1970 for after intense conflict, this uncontrolled area still divides the island's capital to this day. What was once a vibrant city was split into two halves, leaving in between a no-man's land, inaccessible to the public and transformed into one of the most peculiar forbidden places in Europe. Walking along the edges of the zone, you can see abandoned buildings, hotels frozen in time, and even shops left exactly as they were on the day they closed. The setting feels like an old photograph frozen in space. It is one of those hidden places that reveal how history can abruptly interrupt the flow of everyday life. What is most curious is that while humans remain banned and from occupying the area, nature has taken over. Wild animals, migratory birds, and even rare species have found refuge in this forgotten corridor. With no cars, no new construction, and no pollution, the buffer zone has become an involuntary laboratory of wildlife thriving amid abandonment. And if in Cyprus the landscape has become a field of silence and unexpected nature, there is another place in England where silence also reigns. But there, instead of animals, what stands guard are massive radars ready to sound the alarm for the worst-case scenario. Number 12. In the hills of North Yorkshire rises a base that looks like something out of science fiction, RAF Fylingdales. Originally famous for its radar pyramids, today it is made up of 3 massive domes that scan the skies for any sign of threat. Few places in England carry such an enigmatic aura, and it is precisely this secrecy that makes it one of the most impressive forbidden places on the continent. The role of the base is strategic, to detect ballistic missile launches from anywhere on the planet. Within minutes, these antennas can identify trajectories and transmit alerts. It is like an invisible clock ticking away the time left in case of a global emergency. To outside observers, it may look like nothing more than a strange set of structures on the horizon, but behind them lies a vital function. What is fascinating is how Fylingdales combines simplicity and power. 3 silent domes in the middle of the English countryside are responsible for monitoring space and giving humanity precious minutes of reaction. It is almost poetic to think that, while sheep graze peacefully in the nearby fields, a highly sophisticated system is watching the cosmos for signs of destruction. These 12 forbidden places reveal how the world still holds mysteries that remain out of human reach. They fascinate us precisely because we cannot enter, and that makes them even more powerful in our imagination. Each one shows that secrets are preserved, whether in golden vaults, closed-off cities, or untouched zones of nature. And even from a distance, they continue to influence our culture, our history, and even the way we understand security, power, and survival. The fact is simple. While we search for answers, these places remain surrounded by silence. And it is that silence which keeps the flame of curiosity alive, turning every restricted area into an invitation to reflect on what we still don't know. If this journey into the unknown has sparked your curiosity, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. That way, you'll keep discovering stories, secrets, and knowledge that go far beyond the ordinary. After all, the adventure has only just begun.